gunk hair mask, and your brain's like,
Yeah.
what?
I don't know what it's properly called, but like the gel that you get when you soak flax seeds.
Yeah, it's what makes the flaxseed egg part.
Yeah.
You string out the seeds and then you put it in your hair.
Yeah, you use it like a hair mask.
So, welcome to the Northern Knits Podcast. We are two friends in fibre who talk knitting, crocheting, crafting, and, well, everything in between. It's episode 212. My name is Jocelyn. My co-host is...
Diana, not dropping stitches.
Not Dropping Stitches? Is that your new name?
Yeah, not dropping stitches, Diana.
I currently call Winnipeg, Manitoba home. Diana currently calls Waterloo, Ontario home. You may notice I said currently because, quite frankly, lives are very long and we may not stay where we are. We may stay where we are. We just don't know. Guys, there's so much life going on in my life right now. It's too much life.
There's a lot of life going on.
So much life. Okay.
There's spring life around here. The leaves have trees. The leaves have trees. Whoa.
The leaves.
The trees have leaves. Finally.
Write down the leaves have trees because there's our show title.
I mean, the leaves do have trees attached.
Generally, we put the words in the other orientation. You're technically not incorrect. Just, are you sure it's only tea in your cup?
I'm so certain. Although I did put it in a mushroom cup. So like mushrooms.
Mushrooms, okay, I'm with you.
Mushrooms.
Oh my God. So bad. Okay. What are we doing? You're gonna tell everybody what we're gonna cover, guys. I had 5 hours of sleep last night. God only knows where this is gonna go.
I've had an Americano and now I have an entire pot of tea. So I'm like, it's good. It's good.
All the awake. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so for this episode, which we have already titled, we're just on the ball today. We've got What's in Our Cup, Cool Threads, Woolly Workings, Wool Gathering, and Kniterature. I can read my own writing. I didn't like scribble notes on top of one of the headings.
Look, I have a new mug.
That is such a great mug. There's so much going on in that mug. Wait, what? Hang on.
Well,
what is all going on in that mug?
We've got the Trouble Lock, Stock, and Barrel. We've got the classic scene where Jack is walking in the graveyard. And that's all the details I've been able to pick up so far because I haven't put it under a magnifying glass yet.
Fair.
It was a Patreon gift. You guys, Diana was like, hey, a secret Patreon wants to send you a secret gift. Can I give her your address? And I went, I like presents. I think I literally replied with, I like presents.
Mm-hmm.
Which is my consent.
I believe you did, yeah.
And this showed up while the Patreon e-knit club was going on Saturday. And I got a Jocelyn-sized Nightmare Before Christmas mug, which I don't have any Nightmare Before Christmas mugs in Jocelyn size. So
somehow
I do. So the Christmas mug is not going to be the only mug you see. You're probably going to see the Nightmare Before Christmas mug ad nauseum. It's my new pretty mug. Listen, the mug you sent me for Christmas is the perfect size for sipping chocolate.
Excellent.
Ooh, that totally happens.
I have just emptied my cup, which means I can actually hold it up to the camera. A couple weeks back, I got a shipment of stuff from my family, including Grandma Carrier's teacup collection that's been apparently in a box in my parents' basement since she passed away like 12 years ago.
Ooh, that's a while in a box.
Yeah. I didn't know she had teacups, but she has a bunch of teacups. Had a bunch of teacups. Now I have all of Grandma Kozak's teacups and all of Grandma Carrier's teacups. So I have 14 vintage teacups.
Okay. All sorts of cups.
Some of them might actually be properly old and be like great grandma teacups. I don't actually know. So if anybody's got resources for how to research the vintage of your teacup, I would love to have that. Anyway, today I'm drinking some boring Earl Grey tea out of this very exciting, adorable mushroom cup. I love how they're just like droopy. There's something about the droop that just makes it.
They're derpy looking. It's so cute.
I know. This is like a vintage 1950s cup with the gold trim and like, and you can actually like see like this proper bone china.
Yep.
And of course, because it's that vintage, it has a matching saucer.
Guys, if
I'm
it looks
just
like I'm not as thoroughly impressed as Diana is, you have to realize that I use my great-grandmother's wedding china as my everyday dishware.
I didn't have grandmother, great grandmother china to use on a daily basis.
My
So
mom has
like,
informed me I'm inheriting the other chinas as well. So I'm about to be inundated with china sets and cups and saucers.
I mean, is that a problem?
Nope. I'm good. I
Of
love
course,
it.
I don't have a teapot to match the vintage of this, so I have a perfectly modern teapot, but like I have an entire like 3 to 4 person teapot that I'm drinking myself.
I feel like now I'm gonna have to go find you like a vintage bone china teapot and make you a cozy for it. That's just like over
Oh
the top.
yes. Absolutely. I need an over the top tea cozy with like all of the little gnomes and mushrooms and like the most fiddly ostentatious thing you can come up with.
Oh, oh, can I? Don't
Oh, I
can.
believe you can.
Oh, I've got the skills. This is happening. I know people whose hobby is estate sale shopping. Their
Okay.
hobby is estate sale shopping. That's what they do for fun on weekends. And if I put in a
Estate sales are
request,
great.
it'll totally happen. I mean, I might have to go with them for several weekends in a row, which is not a hardship. In the
No.
aftertime, when we're allowed to do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to turn my phone back on to vibrate because it just occurred to me there's so much going on with house stuff. I can't have my phone on silent this week.
Fair.
And I got a girlfriend who has been at home pandemicking with a 4-year-old.
Oh.
There's a lot of text message threads between me, her, and the other girlfriend who has an infant at home.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of chatting because it's hard being a parent when you have a village. It's even harder when your village can't come to help.
Yeah.
Like there's things I normally I'm super happy to go places with new moms and babies. I'm super okay working on baby schedule. This has never been a problem for me. And one of the moms with a toddler, the one with the 4-year-old, crochets. So she's doing a crocheted garment. So I've been cheering her on for that because it's big. Your first crochet garment, like that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh yeah, crochet sweaters all the way. I love my crochet cardigans. I'm designing one. That's how much I enjoy the things. I love my knit cardigans. I love handmade stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one's got a 8-month-old baby boy, so you know I gotta make some boy stuff.
Oh yes.
I
Little dinosaur hats or something?
absolutely bought the little Gramps sweater from Tin Can Knits.
Oh, that one's so cute.
Because
The little gentleman.
I'm like stressing him in blues and grays. I'm making him an old man cardigan for Christmas.
Yes. Oh.
I'm not casting
Pictures. I want pictures.
October. I'm not casting it on until October because babies, they grow fast.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm gonna make the next size up from whatever size he's in October.
Yeah. And then it might last all winter, maybe.
Get it into the end of the season. Like I know better. Babies grow. That is what little people do. They grow really, really quick. That is the nature of little people. So, but I'm super excited to do that. But I mean, the other mom's 4-year-old is also a boy, so it's like striped boy cardigan thingies. I gotta start making baby stuff here shortly. In theory, there'll be some sort of social gathering at Christmas, maybe.
I'm holding out real hope for Christmas.
Okay, what are we doing? We talked about what we were drinking.
Yeah, we talked about cups. Cool threads.
I am wearing my habanero today. Why? Because I can. Well, and it's become one of my favorite rotations. It's right up there with the mallow cardigan or my campfire cardigan, which I wear a ton. I have other cardigans, but those are the 3 I tend to wear the most. Those are the 3 I tend to wear the most. I'm making another habanero. I may make another summer weight habanero and do it in like a cotton linen or something.
Be nice.
Mm-hmm.
I need more cardigans in my life because most of my sweaters are
sweaters.
Well, no, actually, I've only got for handmade sweaters. I've got the one pullover, and I've actually got the 2 cardigans. I've got the Comfort Fade and the Glam Lamb.
Yep.
Glam,
but
glam,
those are still quite folly wintry.
They're very thick, yeah.
I think you need
I think next
summery ones.
And I'm knitting this other winter weight one. I think I need some lighter sweaters in my life. Okay, I've definitely got to cast on that the crocheted the granny square cocoon cardigan. That's
I love
happening.
my granny square cocoon cardigan. The problem is it's the same color I am in the winter.
So it's a summer cardigan.
It's a summer cardigan when I'm less light beige and more medium dark beige. I don't
Fair.
suntan, I just become medium dark beige. But I do want to do another one. And it's called the Indigo Shrug. It's crocheted, but it's got this beautiful lace paneling cocoon cardigan pattern to it, and it's done in fingering. You're welcome.
Well, I do love lace.
Mm-hmm. You do, and crochet lace is fun. I really enjoy it. So
it is.
Yeah. Oh, it's
done crochet lace and
so addictive. It's so.
I don't think I've ever finished anything with crochet lace. I started a project in crochet lace once, and it was super not working out, so I ripped it out. But
I started the Indigo Shrug, but I had to pull it out because my tensions changed a bit in the 2 years since I started the project, or something ridiculous like that. So I have to restart it, which is no fault on the project. It's just it sat for so long. My tension has changed, so it had a little warbly thing, and I was like, that's not gonna work. All right, but yeah, no, I'm just wearing my habanero, and I'm absolutely gonna be making another one because it's too dang pretty not to own two, in my mind.
I suppose for things I've been wearing, I wore my socks, and Mr. Diana's been wearing his socks, and he makes a point of pointing it out every time he wears the socks, and I'm like, it's your birthday's in a couple months. Select your color.
Select a color, yeah, it's select color time, which is good. I mean, whatever. I wear a short assortment of shawls and cardigans and whatever. I put around the house. I mean, I took a great adventure. Internet, don't tell my doctor. I went to go see my sister's new house. It was after dark. It was a Saturday. Nobody was on the side of the street.
No one was around. The house was empty.
Nobody was around. The house was empty because I just got the keys the other day. So I got to see the IKEA chair now that it's finally put together correctly.
Not backwards.
Well, we're still making fun of her for that, guys. My sister's a daughter of a carpenter. She put her chair on her kitchen table, IKEA chair, on upside down. She's helped us build houses. All right. Shall we talk about what we're working on?
Yeah.
Not only have edited out at this point.
Yeah, I know, right? We're rambly today.
5 hours of sleep. I'm doing the best I can. I have
highly caffeinated.
Which means I start first, right? Right.
Yes. You've got 5 things to my 4, because I actually have 4 things, and I'm probably going to have like 4 different things next week with all the things I want to cast on. You know what? As long as I have the needles for it, I'm going to do it.
Do it. Right now, here I am enabling you. Don't pay attention to Asa later when she says don't do it, finish your things. You just cast on whatever you want. You do not let the internet tell you what to do.
I mean, sometimes I let the internet tell me what to do because that makes good content. And it results in the Omei tea because that's actually beautiful, and I love that the internet made me do that.
So gorgeous. And like, don't get me wrong, because we absolutely bullied you into picking up your 8-bit during the Patreon night yesterday.
Oh, 110%, but I'm actually really glad that you did because it's just like flying now. Yeah. And I'm so excited about it.
So pretty.
You should bully me about this sweater sticking out of this basket right here is a store-bought sweater that I pulled a thread on the cuff and the cuff started unraveling, and it's a knit sweater. So I know how to fix it. So bully me until I fix it because it's my favorite sweater.
Got it. Will do. Watch this. Jocelyn finished a sleeve.
Wow!
It's a sleeve.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's so pretty. I love the color work on the sleeve. Like the diamond-y pattern is so good.
I swear, guys, I'm so tired. My first instinct is to swear. I'm so sorry if it offends you. I'm going to try to catch as many as I can and not do it. This is the sleeve on the Half Moon tee.
So much. Okay, I'm buying that pattern.
So
I need one of these in my life.
It's so freaking pretty. Okay, I added extra length. Like I added more length than the pattern called for because my upper arm, bicep? What do we call this? There's a forearm, which is your elbow to your wrist.
Your upper arm, bicep. Yeah.
Bicep is longer than the pattern to hit the right spot. So this is just shy of my elbow, and I had to add an extra 2.5 inches.
That's the beauty of making your own clothes is you can just make it fit you. As
So
it should.
it still sits at the same place it does in the pattern is designed, because it's designed to stop just before your elbow. So like it still stops just before my elbow, but I did more ribbing than the pattern called for because I wanted it to cinch up nicely. And look at how pretty that ribbing is.
That's beautiful.
It actually looks like ribbing.
Yeah, that was
You know what
good.
this means, right? I'm gonna have to pull out that bottom hem. Oh, God.
Oh no,
That's fine. I'll live. So I'm working
that's a later
on
problem.
it is a later problem. I just finished the color work on the second sleeve.
God, I love that
So
so much.
I just need to finish off my second sleeve, and then this sweater will sit at the stage it's at. I'll weave in all the ends but the ones on the bottom that aren't woven in already. And then I've got to wait till I can pick up the body and pull back that ribbing at the bottom, because the ribbing on the bottom is not good. But here's the kicker, guys. So remember how I had that 70 grams of yarn left over and I split?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still working on my first 35-gram ball.
Oh, so you've got extra for extra length.
I've got extra for extra length. So like I'm pulling back and I'm adding extra length to it. Like it's just long enough it works, but I want it like longer. And 35 grams in fingering goes a really long way. So I've got a full 35 grams and a bit. I didn't weigh this. I don't know how much this is, but it only has this ball only has to go 2 inches, and then 2 inches is only got to go 4 more inches. So like I might not dip into my other 35-gram ball of yarn. So yeah, I need to pick up the stitches at the bottom and pull out the bottom and add more length. Even if it's 400 stitches a row, it doesn't matter. It's got to happen. What I won't do is do it on my own. So I will pick up the stitches like on a darning needle and on thread.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will have somebody else do the pullback and pick up the stitches for me. So like I'll do the hard part. That way, if I've dropped a stitch or two, it's nothing for them to grab it. But I will absolutely beg someone with better vision in my life to do the part where if I drop a stitch, we run into trouble. So
I'm half expecting for a sweater to show up in the mail one day.
you know what? It might. So don't be shocked. Shows up with like the next stack of books. Hey, Diana. Can you
I mean,
do a thing? Like do it on the podcast. Like if it shows up at your house, like showcase it. You got it. Threaten to keep it. Do what you got to do. So I was going to work on the sleeve the other day, but I couldn't find the ball of yarn. I found it eventually. Just took a while. Let's make squeaky sounds with my chair.
yeah.
All right. On the bright side, you have 4 items, which means you can go next.
It does. Okay, let me just put the caps back on these needles briefly because I'm not going to talk about this one yet. I'm going to start at the boring end of the spectrum so we can end on the exciting things.
Okay.
The boring end of the spectrum is I did like 2 more rows on the King's Flame. Okay, no, I lied. I did like 4 more rows. I definitely moved the progress keeper this time. So this is an accurate depiction of how much progress I made on the King's Flame this week. This knot section, button section is gonna be the death of me. I swear. You want me to do 9 of these?
Yes, I do.
You're still gotta do another 4.
I do.
Ah.
And you know what? You love the finished product, so you know you're going to do it.
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited to get clackety clack. I'm so excited to be back into the lace section because that's going to go whoosh and I get to use a different color. Not that this yarn isn't absolutely gorgeous, but switch things up every once in a while.
It's the only long haul part in the whole shawl. Once you're over it, it's smooth sailing.
I don't know. And if I actually just like sat down and put time into it, but it's been my do it here and there while waiting for stuff to compile at work things. So like I've picked it up a trillion times, but I only ever get done like 10 stitches.
Yeah. No, okay. That will definitely add to the feels like it's taking forever stage.
Yeah, so like that's not helping with my perception of it at all.
That's really fair. Oh, it looks so good though.
So once more with feeling, this is the Malabrigo Makita in the Diana colorway. There's another skein of this. Don't worry, I'm gonna have to cake it up at some point. It's on the shelf back there. It's probably in that project bag sticking out there. I think that was the project bag that I was using. And then yeah, I don't know, the black. You can see the black. It's black. It's boring. It's black sock yarn.
It's basic black.
It's basic black.
Basic black.
Basic black. I'm so excited to wear this like as a scarf in the fall with one of my leather cuffs to hold it. I think it's gonna look so good like that.
I'm so excited.
Oh, clackety clack.
Fuck.
Sorry about the clacking. Okay, that was my thing. That was the boring thing. Everything else is more exciting than that.
Boring. I mean, like, as the designer of that pattern, I feel like the pattern's not boring at all.
No, the boring part is that I make like one repeat of progress each week, and that's it. That's the boring part. It's boring for everybody else.
I've made a little bit more progress on what I'm working on while we podcast, which is my vanilla toe-up sock. It was once the cranberry sauce pattern socks, and I am going to do that pattern again. I think I want a plainer yarn, so I feel like this one might be a bit too speckled for it. So this is the February Whiskey Jack colorway from Fireweed Fiber Co.'s sock club for this year. So I've done my toe and I'm just making my way up the foot again. Why did it get ripped out? It's because I dropped stitches. That's why. I did not put a ton of work into it last week, guys. I had a lot of progress on another project. So the sock is moving up the queue because I'd like to get this done. Mostly because I want them on my feet. That's why I want them done. Because the yarn is so pretty. So pretty. So I am working on that while we podcast. As always, I do my socks at like a 68 stitch count on a 2.25 millimeter needle. Technically, I probably should be 72, but I like a tight fitted sock.
That's fair. I do mine at 64 for that precise reason. I just realized that to talk about my sock, I should get my sock blocker. So just give me 2 seconds because it's like just over there. The cord's just not quite long enough.
Okay, go for it.
So first off, super cute sock blocker. Got little sheepy cutouts.
Got sheepy cutouts. Yes, I agree. Where did you get that?
I think my mom got them for me as a present a couple years ago.
Trust me, I want to buy a set of sock blockers with matching mitten blockers.
Ooh, that'd be cute.
I feel like that needs to happen next.
Oh, interesting. These sock blockers are slightly short for my feet. Noted. I might have to use the other ones when I block these. If I block these, I don't know.
I have never blocked my socks. I just put them on my feet.
I know, right? But they're so useful for this purpose.
Great for showing off socks.
So I finished a sock.
Oh, that looks so good.
That's slightly twisted. Here we go. So I finished the first sock. This is going to be the left sock so that the little cabley pattern's on the outside of the foot. Because it's asymmetrical, there's no pattern on the other side.
Okay.
So there's this cute little cabley pattern that isn't actually a cable at all. It involves sort of a variation on the button stitch from the last shawl, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, and then just like some twisted stitches, and it just continues all the way up the foot.
It's a really cute pattern.
And yes, these are the exact same colors that Jocelyn is making her sock out of. We both have Erin's sock club because Erin makes beautiful colors.
We apologize to your wallets in advance. You're welcome.
Yes. She will be linked in the show notes. Go buy all of her yarn. It's beautiful.
Show notes can be found on our webpage, which is the northernknitspodcast.com.
No, just Northern Knits Podcast.
Just northernknitspodcast.com?
Yep.
Yeah. It's
also linked in the show notes and in the description box.
Yeah. So if you don't want to go looking, scroll to the description box. Diana puts links for you. She's kind like that.
So this should technically be down here, and the foot's like not. The sock blocker is slightly small for my foot, apparently.
That's fine.
Whatever.
Maybe it's your mom's size and she's trying to tell you something.
No, my mom has the same size feet as me.
Okay.
I can make my socks for me and then be like, oh no, I don't have a present for my mom, and then just give my mom my socks.
That works.
I've done that.
Not work for me. My mom and me have very different sized feet.
I'm very pleased with this, and I have started.
Number 2?
Oh, we're tangled. Hang on. I got too many projects on my desk right now. I've started the toe of the second sock. So, we're getting there. We're getting there. Gotta wind this up. It's a little. I brought it downstairs to do the family video call earlier because they always want to see what I'm working on. So I did like this, but like the super condensed for family who aren't knitters version.
They enjoy what you do, but they don't always get it.
Yeah. Like they don't want to listen to me talk about it for like 45 minutes. Like you kind people do, apparently.
We enjoy it, but we all enjoy our hobbies, so it's good.
Yeah. They're not knitters, and that is okay.
Yeah, totally fine. Listen, 2.5 weeks of magic paper doll construction.
Yeah, I admit I don't particularly understand that craft either, but the end result is adorable.
The end result is so freaking cute. Oh my god. Okay. I suppose that means it's me next again.
It is.
Should I do crochet, or do we want one more knitted thing and then round off with the 2 crochet items? Crochet items.
Ooh. Let's shake it up with some crochet.
With some crochet. All right. So I am easily talked into things.
No.
Could you put more disbelief into that statement? I don't feel like there was enough sarcasm in there for me.
Let me try again. Really?
Oh, jeez. I'm going to buy you the house mat my sister has for her front door. And it's brown and in black font. It says, "Oh, it's you again."
Yeah. That'd work.
I was talking about if I wanted to do a knit sock or a crocheted sock. I have done both. My crocheted socks tend to be house socks because I like thick house socks, like those reading socks.
Mhm.
I enjoy them. So I have several pairs of those that I've crocheted because crochet is faster. Guys, my eyes are watering and I don't know why. Probably because it's all over the place again for weather. We were 13 degrees yesterday. Today we're 2 degrees with snow. Welcome to Manitoba. That's how my life works. So using some Lion brand yarn, when I was asked if I would describe the differences between crochet socks and knit socks, and I said, yeah, of course. I cast it on, not the sock I wanted to do in this yarn because I wasn't going to talk about crocheted socks and not have like a beginner friendly crochet sock in my hand. Does that make sense? Because I don't want to no, crochet socks are great fun. Let me show you this one that I'm working on that's going to be a knee-high cabled crochet sock. Like
that's
intense.
Yeah.
So for fun, knowing I would rip it out, I cast it on a crocheted fingering weight sock, and it's called the herringbone sock. I mean, I've got it on my hand because it's mitten shaped right now, and this is crochet.
That is cute.
It's a crochet sock. It's in a self-striping yarn. It's a gray to dull, like mustardy yellow yarn from Loops and Threads and Michaels. Now, the reason I want to make these knee-high and cabled is because I have 2 100-gram balls. So I have 400 yards, over 400 yards per ball, which is what I need to do crochet because you use more when you crochet than when you knit.
Mm-hmm.
Yardage thing. So I didn't rip it out to start the sock. I actually wanted to start with this because I wanted to show you guys, look guys, I made progress on a sock. I mean, like, it's going away, but this one, a beginner who like can crochet can do, which is what I wanted to show everybody. That yeah, it's totally a thing. I spent almost 2 hours answering questions about crochet versus socks, crochet versus knit socks. It's on Louise's YouTube channel, which is Wildflower Wool.
I will find that exact video and I will link it in the show notes.
So I did that because I absolutely think crocheted socks are a thing that people I think should be more excited about. I mean, I think in general, more people need to be excited about knitting and crochet, period.
Mm-hmm.
But I know they make really good socks. I mean, crochet makes really good many things. There are some things I would not knit. There are some things I would not crochet. There are some things I will not sew by hand. Like everybody else, I have preferences. So that's I did that. I mean, you guys won't ever see it again, mostly because I'm going to rip it out and knit. I'm going to be casting on to my hook. Let's use the right terminology. Those knee-high cabled socked ones, though I had no intentions of starting them till like July. It's like we're getting out of knee-high sock season. So I had every intentions to make those over the summer because the sock is a lot nicer to have on your lap in July and August.
That makes sense, yeah.
Then, like a sweater.
Yeah, I can tell you, I'm pretty toasty right now.
Yep. So that's the thing I'm working on. So that'll go away and you won't see that yarn again for a bit. It's not because I don't like the herringbone sock. I like the herringbone sock pattern. I just want to do them in a different yarn.
Makes sense.
Yep. I need to use it for something else. But I needed a sample because I was teaching. That was weird. But it happened, and here we are. Side of my nose is itchy. Okay. You're up again.
Am I? Okay. Hang
Feels
on.
weird, doesn't it? Because I've got 2 things left. So
All right, let me put some caps on this, and I will talk about the thing that I've been alluding to that I think I probably showed on screen at some point already.
probably.
Ugh.
I don't know what Annie Dawson's going to do. She's in the future. She's crazy.
I picked up the 8-bit again.
Woohoo!
I have reattached the sleeves properly this time. I checked my stitch count so carefully. Which also meant that I pulled back the most of the part where my color dominance was reversed.
Okay, yeah.
So I think it's fairly apparent on this camera that I've got this one repeat of color B here.
Yeah.
That the boxes seem a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So there's still one band where my color dominance is reversed, but you know what? I can live with that because that'll mostly block out, and it's not like it's fine. It's one little band. I can live with it.
I think in the end, once the whole sweater's done,
I think you're not really gonna notice it.
Not really gonna notice it.
It's not exactly a quiet sweater. It's pretty busy.
Nobody looks at that sweater and thinks to themselves, "Wow, man, plain."
It's not subtle. There is nothing subtle about this sweater. It screams, "I am a nerd who knits."
It is loud, and I love it. I love it.
We got the Mario mushroom and the Space Invaders on one sleeve. We got the Mario Star and Tetris on the other sleeve, and then we've got the Zelda Royal Sigil or something. I don't know. I didn't play the Zelda games. I know it's from Zelda, but I don't know exactly what it is.
My sister said it when I was working on that chart because she played the Zelda games and I didn't, and I had no idea. It's something to do with Zelda. I knew it was Zelda, but I didn't play the Zelda games either. I know, don't at me. I didn't play the Zelda games. Pac-Man.
Yeah, Pac-Man, Mega Man, Mario Ghosts, and then the last chart is the video game controllers, which I did mod slightly, and now I'm slightly annoyed at Knit Companion because on rare occasions it'll just decide that one of my project files is corrupted.
What?
Yeah. It happened when I was doing the Celtic Myths shawl months ago. It just, that one file got corrupted, and when it would either not open or it would just crash the app. So the 8-bit sweater file crashes the app. Like I click on it and the app just closes. Like, but I had all my mods in there and I highlighted all of my. So I guess I gotta go do it again. I don't have to assemble it. I just put so much work into that file because it's a mystery knit along, right? So you have to stitch all the clues together. So I only have to start at the video game controller clue, which I think is 10 of 12. So like I only have to put 3 together now, so it's not so bad. I have to go and highlight all the numbers again. I have to put my chart mods back in, and it's mildly annoying. Like Knit Companion is like 99% awesome. Now let's go 98% awesome. On Android, it's a little bit obtuse. And it occasionally just craps right out.
Cool tech. Thanks for helping.
Yeah.
Appreciate
but like 98% of the time, it is wonderful to have. Like I've stopped printing paper patterns.
Well, I mean, I don't print paper patterns, but for different reasons. How much paper that would use if I did it in a font I could read?
Ugh. That would be a lot. I really like Knit Companion's chart reading thing because if you have a paper pattern, I have to like stick down washi tape and move the washi tape every single time, and then after a couple repeats of the chart, the washi tape doesn't have any stick left, so you have to get new tape, and it's a pain.
Yeah.
Whereas on Knit Companion, you just move the little highlighter. So it is really nice. It just occasionally doesn't work.
I use my tablet or my computer screen.
That makes sense.
And they're PDFs, so my screen reader doesn't read them. But I can blow the font up real big. This works fine.
That helps.
That helps. All right, I have 2 left.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Crazy pants. For any of you keeping track, Dinah can still win this race. She challenged me to last month because I do not have time to pick up the 8-bit till May. So she's got time to close the gap and get in the lead again.
Jocelyn has given herself a severe handicap and therefore I'm still in this race, even though I stopped for like 3 weeks.
Jocelyn has a check-in with Louise, and she wanted to have a finished sweater. She hasn't worked on yet. It's the 18th of the month.
Yeah, why'd you do that?
Because Jocelyn absolutely gave herself a really bad handicap, so Diana should take full advantage of it because it's there now. Because I'm crazy and I did not want to work on the 8-bit for 2 months in a row because I'm at the decrease section and it frightens me. And I wanted to work on something else for a while. So there. I also got tired of fighting with my cat about lying on me while the sweater was on my legs while I was working on it.
Oh my.
It's just at that stage where there's so much sweater that the cat can climb onto a section of it and I don't realize she's there. Because really what's the difference between overly warm and overly warm? Nothing.
And it's a fairly weighty sweater too.
It is a fairly weighty sweater. So, and boy, it's made out of brings a little because she loves lying on it. Oh, she's killing me. So what I am supposed to be working on this month for my check-in with Louise on the 6th, we said? Was that the first Thursday?
I believe so, yeah.
First Thursday in May was the simple hug. And I wanted to have the simple hug done because A, I like the pattern, and B, I want to wear it. And I'm doing that sloggy part, which is the body. Once you get the body of it done and you're just working on like a front panel or a back panel, the rows are much shorter, go figure. It flows a lot quicker. But the last time you guys saw it, my stitch marker was many, many inches down.
Wow, I have not seen this in ages.
I have made some serious progress.
Ooh, video compression is not being kind to the marled yarn on my end. It probably looks fine on your end.
It looks gorgeous in person. The video compression has a bit of a problem with orange, black, purple, white held together.
It's struggling.
It's having an issue.
You're real pixely.
In real life, it's a very muted Halloween color. So you get that all over Halloween effect that you get from Halloween variegated yarns with the black, the dark costume purple, the white, the oranges, and all those colors in there, because I've paired it up with gray, which just sort of mutes and makes everything flow. So I've got stripes where my main color is white or gray, and then I'm holding it with a Halloween scrap yarn that I have. We're just making progress. But I have done easily, since the last time I picked it up this week, I've done over 10 inches.
That's a lot.
Well, I'm just
that is progress.
Because my foot is 10 inches from toes to the back of my heel, 10 and a half inches. And I am now just a touch farther than I would be if it was my sock. So I've done 10 inches. Nothing fancy. It's a stockinette stitch pattern. It's from the Cozy Up Knit Girls. I thoroughly enjoy it. My first one I made was a garter. So I knit both sides. This one's stockinette, and this one is a slimmer profile. So this one's going to be a less bulky cardigan, cocoon cardigan. But I am making the sleeves full length instead of elbow length. So like I still got a haul keister. Like I need to make some serious progress on this week. But we are, goodness, I am doing the professional measuring thing where I stick it in my armpit and I see how far down I am. Well, I've got to do this stripe repeat and probably the next stripe repeat, and then I'm good to go. And split for my sleeves. And again, I know from previous experience from making the simple hug that once I get to that part where I've split for my front and my back, it flies.
Whoosh.
Whoosh. Because you're able to make it smaller chunks so it doesn't seem quite so daunting. Kind of like, I'm going to knit 3/4 of the way around my body and then purl 3/4 of the way around my body back at a slightly oversized sweater, which is a lot of stitches. I can then just do small chunks, which whip up real fast for me. Super pumped. But that was my big project this week. It's a lot of inches.
Yeah, that is impressive. I'm feeling a serious case of start-itis. I haven't felt start-itis. Usually it's around spring where it's like, I want to do all the things, but I haven't had that. I didn't have that last year, and I think maybe not the year before either. So it's been a little bit since I've had this, I want to cast on all the things feeling. So I have enough needles now that I'm just going to embrace it. If I have needles for the thing that I want to cast on, like I'm just going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that.
Dude, we're starting an entire knit along in May.
Mhm.
Because both of us feel like casting on a thing.
Yeah.
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 Huh.
And that's like, I have this other like list of things that I'm going to cast on. Like, honestly, maybe today just to say I did.
Okay, that needs to be an Instagram post. The knitting needles and all the yarn and oops, I fell down.
There's even more things. Like I want to cast on like another 4 things. No, I want to resurrect a whip and cast on 1, 2 more things.
Okay,
For sure.
That's fair.
In addition to the thing that we'll talk about in a minute. Anyway, the thing that I casted on this week.
Let's put in that sentence structure one more time.
I don't remember what I said. It was a sentence. It was fine. It's fine.
Fine. It's fine. We move on. What did you cast on this week?
Hang on. I'm trying not to tangle it in all of the everything. God, okay.
We were trying to help her decide what yarn she needed to buy for the librarian. Not should she cast on the librarian, but what yarn is she making it out of?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not casting on that particularly soon. I have this gift card from my local yarn store, and I feel like I should buy some yarn from them. And I want to make this sweater, and I don't have sweater quantities of yarn.
We need to fix.
I have a lot of yarn, but like it doesn't go together to make a large scale project like a sweater.
We need to fix that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna fix that by buying yarn.
Absolutely.
Anyway, all that aside, in case anybody was like worried that I was finishing a lot of knit-alongs and like mystery knit-alongs this year,
don't worry.
I resurrected a mystery knit-along that started in 2014.
Oh no.
It survived the Great Project Purge of I think 3 years ago.
I like that it's like the Great Project Purge, like the Great Fire of San Francisco. Like
yeah, I know. Well, I went through all of my projects and I'm like, I'm not gonna finish this. I don't like this yarn and don't like this pattern anymore, and I just like purged everything. So I ripped this one back because 7 years ago is a long time for like your gauge to say the same. So like I'd ripped it out.
Yeah.
But I still love the yarn. I still love the project, so I cast it on again this week.
Cast back on.
This is the Stormborn shawl from a Game of Thrones mystery knit-along circa 2014.
I'd forgot. Yeah, that's been a while.
Yeah, like this has never been on the podcast before except to say I was ripping it out, I think.
Yeah. Oh.
There's not a nice solid background to show off this. Hang on, hang on, I need my show notes book. I need a solid background to show off this lace pattern.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay, that's pretty.
So it's aiming for a dragon scale type deal.
Okay. So good.
Yeah, so the yarn's kind of busy and then it's lace. So like the whole thing ended up being fairly busy, but I love it. It's so old. I didn't know how to put yarn into cakes. Like it's in a ball that I guaranteed I wound by hand and like murdered my wrist doing. Yeah. So I think this is also like one of the very few projects where I actually used the recommended yarn for the project.
Wow.
So this is a Jimmy Bean's wool that was specifically dyed for this project, I think.
Okay.
So there's 2 of these.
To make the full shawl, yeah. Fingering weight?
Yeah. Fingering weight, yeah. The other one is not wound. It'll get wound into a cake when I need it, because yeah. If I'm going to cast on all the things, I'll just wind all the yarn all at once.
That makes sense. Just off screen is my ball winder and Swift. It's set up because I've been winding more yarn so I can continue with projects.
Yeah, I'm going to have to wind more yarn for the King's Flame soon. Oh, hey, duh. I have a white shirt on. I can just do this. Ha, look at that. You can actually see it now. Wow. I'm smart.
I'm so glad they gave you a degree with a paper and everything.
I know, right? So I pulled out a bunch of fun stitch markers that one of our Patreon folks sent me for Christmas when we did the advent calendar thing. Yeah. So I've got my one edge stitch marker over here. Is fun little orange flowers.
Don't worry, Patreon members. We're scheming in the background.
Oh yes.
Patreon advent, and it will.
There's scheming.
There's some scheming going on.
And I picked these 2 because I thought they were sort of vaguely reminiscent of dragon eggs.
Okay, yeah.
And then there's this really cute heart one that has more flowers on it. Focus on the thing, not my face. There we go. That I thought kind of matched the colors of the yarn pretty well.
No, I think they do fine. Hang
So-
on, my sibling has texted me. I'm intrigued, but again, panicked requests while they do house stuff. I
Fair.
want to see that shawl finished. It's so pretty.
Yeah, so this is chart A.
Pretty, pretty Game of Thrones shawl.
Yeah. So this is chart A.
Okay.
I think the last time I knit this, I'd got somewhere into chart B or C.
I can't remember. I know you weren't too
This
much
was
farther along, but you definitely had more progress.
Yeah, so like at least chart B, because this little tiny little bit is chart A. So
Okay. No. That makes sense.
Mr. Diana's making weird bloopy noises.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? He's been playing. I'm going to do a little aside here. Mr. Diana got given a marketing budget to build Lego sets for his company because they do robots and they translate really well into Lego sets.
We do.
And so it turns out he's really good at designing Lego sets. So he's been given a marketing budget. And so I think he might have resurrected his old Lego Mindstorms kit. Because that's
Like,
there's definitely the sound of a motor
no?
running, right? Something's he's either playing with the Lego Mindstorms robot or he's playing with the Roomba. Because we got 3D printed parts because we have a dev kit Roomba, not like a real vacuum Roomba.
Yeah.
We got the dev kit parts to make it into, or we got the 3D printed parts to make it into an actual vacuum Roomba.
Okay.
So it's going to be one of those things. It's either way, it's a robot. There's a robot out there.
There's a robot out there and he's playing and having fun. Guys,
Yeah.
his master's is in robotics. Like that's
Yes, he builds robots. Well, he builds robot brains.
Yeah. So he's in his happy place right now.
Oh, it's totally a Roomba. It's definitely vacuum sounds.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, he'll be in his happy place right now.
I mean, I will be too after this because I'm going to go play too.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I
saw an amazing Roomba Halloween costume. You take one of those like twig brooms, like a witchy broom, and you attach it on top so that it's like the broomsticks from the Fantasia Mickey Mouse thing. Okay, no, Roomba, you can't come in.
We're recording, Roomba. We're podcasting.
This is great. I'm so amused. We have a pet now.
You do have a pet now. And you don't even have to walk it or feed it. Bonus.
No, we do have to clean up after. Well, it cleans up.
It cleans, but you got to clean it.
Yeah.
Not that big of a chore. All right.
I love this. I find it hilarious because a couple of weeks ago, I'm like, hey, can you like sweep the floor? He didn't sweep the floor. He built a robot that sweeps the floor.
Listen, that's close enough. Like that's closer than a lot of other people get.
Enough.
So that's fine.
I'll take it. It's good enough.
It worked. All right.
I think it's going to be funny to see how it does on the tile floor downstairs because it's got little raised bits. It might get stuck on the. I think that'll be really funny.
Freaking hilarious.
Just gonna walk by and kick the Roomba because it's stuck on a bit of tile.
Get over there, buddy. It's fine. You can do it. It's like a drunk fan. Come on, let's go. One more step. We can go. I know it's hard. You want to lie down, but you're not in the bathroom yet. Come on. A few more feet. We're almost home. I'm glad your lawn feels comfy. We're not done.
Yeah.
All right. I got one more thing.
Okay.
And
I'm done talking about that. I'm going to wind this yarn back up, though, because, oh my gosh, it's tangling and everything.
You detangle. I have to go let quadrupeds outside. Okay. It was fine. All right. What are we doing? We're talking cardigans, right?
I think so, because I'm out of projects.
Which means that we're down to my last one. The crochet cardigan design that I'm working on. The math is working out.
I love when math works out.
The math is working out the first time. This can't last.
oh no, something catastrophic has to happen later if the math is working out the first time.
Something is going to go wrong at some point, but it hasn't gone wrong yet. So I'm going to take it and run with it. I need to ignore the dogs barking in the backyard, guys. Somebody's probably walking past the house. Yes, I thought so. I had to stop one row away from being done my gray.
Oh no, why?
Gray stripe on my back because I needed to wind more gray. So that's what I did this morning. So this is the back to my cardigan design that I'm doing. It is done in Briggs and Little, dark gray and pink heritage, country rose. It's long. Like we keep going long. Long, 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 long. It's long.
That is long. I love those colors striped together though. The
So
gray and
good.
pink combination is just, it's so good.
So good. Because I don't want to drop a sleeve. It's a set in sleeve for the crochet. I had to do some mathing to make
Right.
a little L shape where the sleeve and stuff. And that means the sleeve connection is going to be a little fiddly. But I
Right.
know how to do it. I just need to make sure I explain it clearly. Why it's going so slow is because I'm making it my size. I've done the math for it so I can test it out. But at each stage, I'm handwriting out instructions on how to adjust it depending on your body size. So how to figure out how long you need to make the main body part to be the length you want. You know, how long to make it in here if you say don't need the 9 inches, like you need a shorter length between your shoulders and your neck piece. So I'm doing that by hand as we go. So like it's taking a while because when I'm done and I hold up a finished sweater, it will already be out to testers and already underway. So like
Excellent.
I do have a couple, once I've got the full size range figured out in mathematics, I will probably put a call out for a couple of testers at one end or the other just to make sure my math at the small size and math at the large size is good because I'm in the middle size range just to make sure that things haven't gone wonky too far one way or too far the other. So that's going on. But for the moment, I'm trying to write it up so that if you're an adventurous beginner, you could still do the pattern. That it is no more complicated than, you know, crocheting through the back loop only or a half double crochet, changing yarns, and walking you through the math as much as I can so that if you need to make adjustments so that it fits your frame and you're 5'2", it looks just as good on you as it does on my 5'10", 11-ish frame. Which
I'm
just
excited for this. I might have to cast that on too.
the pattern is, I'm already at like 6 pages. This is going to be a huge pattern block, but it breaks it down. And I know it's so hard to start like a first off in a new garment or a new, you know, thing. So I really want to make it as approachable as possible. I'm not going to make a not striped version, I don't think, because I wanted a striped version. But I'm going to see if I can see if one of my testers, if one of them makes a not striped version, because they prefer a solid color. If I can like have some of the photos, so then I can show the not striped version, because you can certainly do it without striping.
Yeah.
Wouldn't stripe, but I know it's hard for people to visualize that. I really wanted a stripe one because I have a pink plaid fabric sitting in my fabric stash. That is a beautiful muted country pink with a tiny square pattern for the plaid, and that's going to be a full length walking skirt. And then I'm going to have it with a black shirt, and that's a whole outfit, people. That's a whole really pretty outfit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for this.
But the whole outfit's going to take months. The sweater alone takes a month because I'm writing it as I go. If it was an already written pattern, I could go a lot faster.
As I've learned, even the simplest patterns take forever to figure out the first time. Yes. If you're designing.
A lot of math, it's a lot of designing, it's a lot of ripping. That's how it works. But we have a back piece, which is the biggest piece. And it's important because it's the biggest piece. So if the numbers are wrong here, they're wrong everywhere else.
Makes sense.
So next step, front panels. I'm doing it pieced for a reason because pieced garments are easier to adjust to specific size measurements.
That also makes sense.
Easier to customize pieces than it is to customize a full all-in-one. And quite frankly, that's not enough seaming to be an issue, especially since seaming and crocheting is terribly easy. Terribly easy. All right, that is it. We are out of hand knit crocheted projects to talk about.
Okay. That brings us into wool gathering then.
And my favorite part of the whole episode, your Patreon ad spot.
If you would like to financially support this
cacophony,
good word, I like it. If you would like to financially support this cacophony of shenanigans, then you can do so at patreon.com/northernknits. I should really find out if it is /northernknits podcast. Regardless, the link is in the description or at the bottom of the show notes. We do a number of things for our patrons. If you support us at all at any level, you get access to our patron-only Discord, where we are very chatty all the time. I have to mute it at night because we're in all of the time zones.
We are in all of the time zones. What was it last night? Also was getting up for the day, and Rachel was getting ready to finish work, and I was going to bed. It was like 1 a.m.
Yeah, like stuff's happening at 2:30 in the morning, and like, oh, I'm having lovely afternoon tea. Like, what are you having afternoon tea to in the morning? There's always something going on. There's that. There's the Experimental Tuesday blog posts. I made a really amazing pancake this morning that's going up this week.
Still haven't posted the one I was supposed to post last Tuesday. Doing great.
Might get a double shot this week. What else? Oh, there's early access to bonus content when we make bonus content on no particular schedule.
Yep.
I've got a house tour coming up. I need to finish hanging some art so that we can get the art boxes out of the living room, and then I can do a house tour.
That makes sense. I will obviously do a new space tour when I get into my new space because, that's important.
Obviously, we need this.
Everybody needs to see where my crafts go. So, it's a thing. We super understand if you can't support us on Patreon. Not everybody can. Liking, subscribing, commenting, it all helps. It all helps. And we love talking with you guys. Whether it's 1 o'clock in the morning because you're up for the morning and you live in Oslo, Norway, and I happen to be going to bed and I look at my Discord, or, on a YouTube comment because we enjoy chatting in the comments on YouTube. I'm totally game. Super excited to do it.
Oh, the next Patreon hangout.
Ooh, yeah.
Because once a month we do a knit club, basically.
That's the fun one. We're like, 3 hours? We're only supposed to be there for 2 hours. I don't think we do less than 3 hours.
Yeah, I think I was supposed to go do something yesterday at after like 3 hours, and I'm still there at like 3.5 hours, like, oh crap, I'm late.
Oops.
We just get into something and suddenly people are helping me buy yarn for a sweater.
We're all over. It's a true knit club is what it is.
We talk about literally everything.
It's a true knit club. Yeah, that's always fun. Yeah, the next one for that's on the 20 something or other in May.
The next one will be on the 22nd of May at noon Manitoba time.
Okay. So that's a thing that's going down. On the bright side, when there are news and releases and stuff, the Patreon members hear about it first.
Yes.
It's just they get the news first, and then everybody else gets all the info afterwards. Like the upcoming random Jocelyn and Diana want to cast things on, so we made a cal for it.
Yeah. Well, I think you wanted to cast something on, and I'm like, yeah, let's do that.
So for May the 1st, insert whatever Star Wars reference you need to put here. We're going to do a spring cleaning cal. So this is going to be an item that has been on your I want to make list for way too long. You want to do it. You're excited. You have the yarn. You don't have the yarn. You've got the project. You've been staring at it, but haven't bought it because it's big. And you're like, I don't know. And you can think of 100 reasons why it's not an adult thing to do. We're going to do it. So spring cleaning cal, me and Diana are going to cast on some beefy shawls.
Mm-hmm. You got a 4 skein, 5 skein.
I got a 4 skein. You got a 5 skein.
Is it a 5 skein? I don't remember. It's 4 or 5. In any case, it's large.
I think it's 4 and a mohair.
That might be it.
We're not going to restrict a pattern designer. We're not going to restrict a thingy. It just needs to be it needs to require that sweater size bag. It needs to be for you. It needs to either be something on your wish list or in your stash, or you've run across and you thought, oh, yes. And then saw it and went, oh, my. And it counts. We're going to start on the 1st of May. If you've got a whip already in progress, that counts for that, but you haven't touched it, it totally counts. May 1st-ish cast on days, guys. You know us.
Yeah, we're all about the ish.
We're all about the ish. And because we're talking Stephen West shawls, we're talking blankets, we're talking 4 or 5 skein fingering weight projects here. Like, we're talking the beasts. Because it's a spring cleaning. You need to clean it out. Get something going. Obviously, baby things won't count. They're just not that big. Now, If you make a baby blanket, you're getting closer. But I feel like it has to be like a couch throw size. Like you really need to be using multiple balls of yarn because it needs to be that big, beefy project.
Do something big. Do the big project you've been putting off, just like spring cleaning.
Yeah, it's like spring cleaning. You know you got to do it and you'll feel better when it's done. Let's do that. We have a hashtag for it. We're going to run it on Instagram and we're going to run it in the Facebook group. So, I know we have a Facebook group. On Facebook, we're the Northern Knits Podcast. Take the out. I can't help it. It just goes in there at the start. 4 years later, I still can't take the out. I don't think I ever will.
It's fine.
Instagram, it's the same thing. Northern Knits Podcast. I want to say so badly. And we're going to run it there for 2 reasons. We're splitting it up into 2 platforms because not everybody has Instagram. Not everybody uses Facebook. But I'm still really irate at Ravelry's accessibility issues.
And they have a dark mode. I don't know if that helps. That might just be another token thing.
It's so token.
It looks kind of neat.
Funny. It's so token. It's not even funny. It's because they don't even call it dark mode, and they make it hard to find and accessible, and they make it hard to set up and start. Like it just.
With the dark mode, I will give them one bonus point. Is that they automatically make it take your system settings. So if your system settings are set to dark, it will auto go dark for you.
Yes. Yeah.
So I will give them a small +1 for that.
But again, token gestures aren't real. Like they're not addressing the primary issues, which irritate me. The primary issues are not my accessibility issues by any stretch of the imagination. I use Ravelry just fine. But I'm on my high horse and it's about accessibility and I'm staying there. So if you can use Ravelry, I mean, we'll probably also have a chatter thread running in Ravelry, but we won't be featuring or looking there for prizes or anything for anybody because the prizing stuff will strictly be Instagram and will strictly be the Facebook group. Bonus part is the answer to the question for the Facebook group is don't forget to knit.
Yep. Agree with our rules and don't forget to knit.
Don't forget to knit. Read the rules. Be nice to people. You know, if you're gonna be mean, I will boot you.
Be a respectful human being.
Yeah. And that's all we really need it to be. On the Instagram, we're gonna use the hashtag. Are you ready for it? It's hashtag NKP Spring Cleaning Cal. KAL. That's it. All one word with the hashtag. I looked. Nobody's used it. We're good. Don't forget to tag us with the @ symbol and Northern Knits Podcast. Oh my god, I still want to put the on there so bad. So that for sure I see it happening. So I can go in and I can like and add most likely your project to my to make list. These are things. You do not have to pick Stephen West. Me and Diana have just both picked Stephen West because we do love his very large shawls. We know he's not for everybody, but he is for us.
I happen to have a project kit that I bought like 2 years. No, it'll be like 3 years ago. 2 years ago on my honeymoon at his store. So like that's what I'm gonna make. That's been on my list for a while.
That's the Morherino medley, right?
Yeah.
Or madness? One of the two.
I think it's a medley.
Medley?
It might be madness. I'm not sure. His 4 skeins. It must be madness.
It feels like it. I'm going to make the Starflake shawl, which is also 4 skeins of fingering weight yarn for him. But we're like super encouraging you guys to pull it out. If you want to do a crochet project that's like absolutely massive, do the crochet project. Put the KAL on the end. Crochet counts. That's all it counts. You want to spin a blanket's worth of yarn or spin yourself a sweater's worth of yarn, I feel like that would also count. If you've got a sweater's quantity of fiber sitting there waiting to be spun, that's still spring cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
It still counts.
Do the big thing and it doesn't really matter what craft it is?
Not really. I mean, if you're worried about it, send me a message on Instagram or send me post on Facebook and ask, and we will let you know. We very rarely have ever said no. If you can justify it, we're
very ish.
Go for it.
We're very ish about these things.
It's going to run the standard 3 months because they're huge projects, guys. If you get a finish at the end of it, good for you. We might not.
It might break my my Cal streak for the year.
My breaker streak. Mostly because we've had in talks for a while to do a knit along starting the 1st of July. So that's still happening. We just, for fun, have added another one in because we can.
Another giant one, you know.
Well, I do small things. Whatever. We only live once. Let's have huge shawls.
YOLO.
YOLO.
YOLO, cast on a blanket.
Yeah, we're showing our age, people. YOLO.
YOLO, cast on a blanket before you get FOMO.
Oh no. You millennial.
Where's my avocado toast?
Where's my avocado toast?
I don't actually like avocado toast. I don't like avocado.
All right. So I think is that it for notes and stuff that we have for it? I've got my next check-in with Louise and Wildflower and Wool on the first Thursday of May, which is the 6th. But I don't think we have anything else that I need to talk about. Did I forget anything?
No, that was everything in my notes.
Doesn't forget stuff. Which means we're on to my favorite part. Well, second favorite part. Books!
Books! Literature! Okay.
I like the knitting stuff too.
Well, it's good because, you know, we've been talking about it for 4 years.
We've only been doing it for a while. Oh,
It still blows my mind when I can say I'm a YouTuber.
You're a YouTuber. You're a social media influencer.
Am I?
You are an influencer. It's what you do.
It's so weird.
Everything's fine. Just checking in.
Okay.
My sister texted me. Lots of texts right now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Books, guys. Guys, I did it.
You read the 1,000-page something or other?
Finished World Without End by Ken Follett. It is 1,014 pages. It is 40 some odd hours listening time, and I finished it last night.
Congratulations. 1,000-page book.
Mic drop.
Wow.
And you say to yourself, Jocelyn, that's great. That's amazing. You're gonna, you'll take a break. Because I traditionally read a bunch of big books and then I take a break, right? Read some romance novels, some graphic novels, some middle grade stuff, like some fun, light stuff. Things that are like 200 pages, 350 pages. No, I picked up the next in the series. It's over 900 pages. Of course I did.
Yeah.
Of course I did. So I'm now reading Column of Fire, which is Ken Follett's third book in the series Kingsbridge. It's under 1,000 pages, so it's only like 35 some odd hours. 30 hours? I told you before we started recording, I don't remember. 30 some odd hours.
Yeah.
Cool. The thing I love about this series, because I read book 1 like a lifetime ago at this point. I'm going to have to reread it, is that he doesn't tell big stories. He doesn't tell these world sweeping, influencing. He tells lower middle class. He tells, about growing up and falling in love and just surviving the history that's going on around you.
Interesting.
So it's never this, I'm going to change the world. It's, petty disputes and childhood rivalries that follow you into adulthood, and it's about getting married and having children and trying to have a career and trying to survive in your time period. In World Without End, the first plague hits Kingsbridge in London, or in England, I should say. And it's just, what is this? What's going on? And it's, changes to, how people are cared for when they're sick. And how do you reconcile this with God and belief and the politics of what's going on? Like, some of the characters go away to the war in France. There's a lot of wars with France, but, from that spectrum, and you've got that buildup. And now I'm reading book 3, and it's set 200 years later. So you're watching the descendants of the people in book 2 take a look around at the monuments and not fully understand why they were built or how they were built, and how that history shifts just like 1 or 2 steps to the left. And now we're like, Mary Tudor is queen, and Protestants versus Catholics, and you're still in Kingsbridge. You're still dealing with the descendants of this family line, and you're still dealing with like the middle class and marrying into aristocracy, or how do you balance your faith with the fact you want to marry a Protestant but you're a Catholic? Like, they're not big stories, they're little stories, and they're so captivating. Because they're just so real. And just reach, like, you can reach, they're people, they're just real people, just literally trying to figure out how to live.
That sounds really nice.
Yeah, through the history that they're in. So it's like, which is why I devoured that book, so because I could just go there. And I mean, I read a book about a plague. I'm in the middle of a plague. You would think my brain would be like, this is not the right time for this. But instead I was like, oh, are they going to figure out that like you have communicable diseases and you got to separate the people? And I was so excited when they were like, hey, but if we don't have the sick people with the not sick people, less people get sick. Like, and I was so excited when they figured that out, you know, like do this and not this, and, you know, like pulling away from the teachings of Greek medicine, and you start getting more, you know, wise women and, you know, how to set bones and how to deal with infections and stuff. And you got more of that going on. And I'm just like, blows. It's still historical fiction. So like they're not real people, guys. They're still made up characters. They have that sort of grounding. Like I want to, you know, I want to build this bridge so people can get in and out of my city. How do I do that? And how do I explain it so that I can get the funding for it? Like, how do I teach people who don't do buildings how it's going to work so that they understand and they fund me? Like, really normal things in the scheme of things, right? Just
it's like, how do I get funding for this bridge from people that don't understand
how
bridges work?
Now,
it reminded me of a thing I saw in a museum. They had all these models of ships, and like, why are there a trillion models of like big scale models of these ships? Because the people that wanted to build the ships were like, I need a model of the ship to show the non-ship people why they should fund my ship.
Yeah, it's like trying to talk to people who are not.
It was the slideshow of the day, like the pitch deck of the day.
It was. It's like it's what you did. You had to go through and explain it. And the author doesn't use terms that are modern terms. So like he doesn't explain it from a modern perspective. He explains it from, okay, well, when you do this, this is what we see happens. So like this is what we guess is going on. Like, and this is how we're diagnosing the problem, because they don't, you know, they don't have divers with scuba gear.
Mm-hmm.
They got boys who can hold their breath for a long time. Like, like,
yep.
Okay, this is not good. And it's yeah, so good, so good. Dove into that, super happy. I'm gonna end up rereading the first book because I don't remember enough of the start of it, but I picked up on bits of it in book 2, and I was like, okay, no, I gotta go back. I gotta go back and reread it so that I've got the full story arc. I'm doing it out of order essentially now, but whatever, okay. It's fine. That's it. So, I have absolutely bombarded your brain with all the joy that is that book for me.
Yeah. So what I've been reading, last week I had about 45 minutes left in We Are Legion brackets We Are Bob. So I finished it that night. And then I immediately started in on the second book, which is For We Are Many.
Yeah. Bob Moot.
Bobnet.
So good.
Oh, it's wonderful. And if you meet an intelligent species, do you follow the Star Trek Prime Directive or not? What are the ramifications? Either way.
Yeah, and I debated it. It was like, wait a minute. Okay, it's no longer a TV show. I actually have to make these decisions now. Ah!
What happens to humanity after World War III and the US is a theocracy?
Yeah. Like, what? Okay, we need to mass exodus Earth. Let's go. Whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah, and it's so, like, there's a lot of, like, philosophical questions that it asks, and, like, real psychological things that the character has to deal with.
Yeah. In a very plausible reality.
Yeah, but then it's also so many nerd jokes. It's wonderful. It's that perfect mix of, oh, this is a really big question, but also jokes.
Also, one of them looks like Homer Simpson. Like it just...
I would love to see this as a show, but the cost for all the copyright
would be...
It makes it impossible.
Astronomical. It could not have... It would be an amazing TV show, but it could...
Oh, it's so good.
Not to mention that they all technically look like their progenitor.
So yeah, so like the cast would be pretty small.
Playing the AIs, but you'd have rotating cast members in and out for the humans that the AI interacts with, because they only live a human span.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like Bob is going to be Bob
forever
till he stops functioning, and that's going to be a dang long time.
Mm-hmm.
especially since he can repair himself.
Yeah, so the whole premise of the series is that Bob gets his brain frozen cryogenically.
That's calling.
Oh, okay, I wait. Guess I
Sorry.
gotta wrap up.
Dad interruption over. I got 30 minutes to 3/4 of an hour. Let's talk Bob.
So the whole premise is that Bob is in, I don't know, like 2017-ish, dies, gets his brain cryogenically frozen, gets resurrected as an AI 100 and some odd years later, and becomes a von Neumann probe.
Yep. So cool.
This all happens in like the first 5 chapters. This is not spoilers. Bob is a von Neumann probe, which means he can go out into space, make more of himself, and just keep spreading out.
Yep. Yep.
So it's all the philosophical questions of, am I me? Are they me? Who's me? Was I ever me?
Yeah. You know, what is, like, am I
What is me?
What is life? Like, there's so many big questions.
Are the clones of me going to stay the same or not? They don't. I just like all the, like, there's that whole philosophical thing. There's the pressures of the universe, like meeting intelligent life that is hostile or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pre-industrial civilizations, and like, are you God? Do you leave them alone? And it's so I love it. So yeah, I'm
keep going.
I'm just gonna keep going in the series.
Such a good series.
So good.
So good.
So that's what I'm listening to. But I picked up a physical book again. I'm all about the rereads because I listened to the Bob series, the first 2 books in the Bob series last year.
Yeah.
So,
don't get me wrong, I may honestly repick up the Bob series next because I really enjoyed that book.
And they're quick listens. They're like 6 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently I'm on a reread kick right now because I also picked up the physical book Soulless from the Parasol Protectorate series, which is something that I read years ago, but I liked it enough that it survived the moving book purge.
Nice.
So I've got the full series of 5, and I'm just gonna reread those because they were fun.
Yeah, I liked that series. It was a good series.
It's is it steampunk?
Yeah,
would you call it steampunk?
That or alt history steampunk maybe.
Okay, but the idea is paranormal Victorian London mystery solving with a bit of romance.
Yeah, it was a cute series.
Mm-hmm. Very enjoyable. So I'm on the comfort rereads right now. The comfort escapist rereads.
Who needs reality all the time anyway? Nobody.
So I'm happy. That's what I'm reading.
Well, if that wraps all of this up, I suppose that means it's time to say until next week. I'm Jocelyn.
And I'm Diana.
No matter where your week takes you,
don't forget to knit.